All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome in House Edge Live. Johnny from Casino Gaming TV here on a Monday. My voice actually is back. As you saw from the pictures, Kevin Farm from Hawaii flew out and brought me to the Seahawks game. He's like, hey, man, I want to take you to the game. So he flew from Hawaii on Friday. We spent the weekend together in Seattle and went to the football game, saw the Hawks literally destroy the 49ers. Freaking amazing, right? Anyway, he came back to my house. We spent some time here, got to see the studio and all that kind of stuff. And then now he's on his way back to Vegas, potentially back to Seattle again to watch us destroy the Rams too. Now, I don't want to hear one person, again, not giving the Hawks a chance. I mean, my God, last week, the 49ers scraped by the Eagles, and the Eagles really beat themselves. The Eagles beat the Eagles. The 49ers did not beat the Eagles last week. Everybody, oh God, Seattle better watch out. That last game was a fluke. They're not as good as they think they are. The 49ers are for real. Blah, blah. Guess what? That game was from 1 second in, never in doubt. I called that game at 35-3 the week before, right? And you already the talk is the Hawks might be home dogs to the Rams. I heard that last night before I went to bed. Like, you got to be kidding me. There's no respect here. I'm also a little bit tired. A little Drake May thing. I got news for you. It doesn't matter who comes to the Super Bowl. If it's the Rams or the Hawks, it'll be the Hawks. But if it's either one of the NFC teams, AFC team is going to be in trouble. I mean, it's going to be the Super Bowl is going to be a 20-point game. It's going to be a 20-point game no matter which of those two teams gets there now, especially with the Texans out of it. The Texans could have kept it close because they have some defense. That game is already over. I'm telling you right now. I'm not going to have any of it. I'm tired of the disrespect of Seattle, number one, but the NFC in general. The AFC teams are so garbage right now. I don't think people really see it. This is going to be like back when the Hawks beat the Broncos 43-8. It's going to be that kind of Super Bowl. So get your bets in now, says Johnny. Don't take my betting advice. This is a fan speak, but I'm telling you what, man, it's going to be a freaking it's going to be a blowout next week and the week after. So, all right, let's do some actual legit betting advice. Not my fanboy sports betting. Right, here we go. We're working on the ABCs of gambling, and I got to remind you that again, my freaking screen is jacked up again, but that's okay. Why do I keep forgetting to change the background of the screen? Hold on one second. I'm going to fix this because it's driving me insane that I forget to do this. That background's got to be green. See, if it's green, you can see me. If it's black, then you can't. So that one and this one both have to be green. I don't know why I forget to do this kind of stuff. All right, let's play that again. Bam. Let's go back here. Is that working better? If I go to here, there we go. Look at that. See that? How that works? Let's go back one more screen. Let me go back one more screen. Back, not forward, back. Ay. There we go. Got it. There's one more. I have to fix a button. So anyway, here we are. We know this. The casinos exist for one of two reasons, right? Bankrupt you or ban you. And the interesting thing is how much stock the casinos put into protecting that sliver that they've got of House Edge, right? We talked about House Edge last week. In some games, it's less than 0.5%. Some games, it's 1 or 5%. They will go to no cost. Is too high to protect that, right? That's why I say this. They will bankrupt you, which is their primary goal. If not, they will ban you from playing. And if you look at dice games, we can even talk just dice. All the things, everybody says, all the math guys, you can't control the dice. DI is impossible. It's all bullshit, blah, 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 right? And I know people out there believe that's the truth too, that you can't control the dice. And I say this a lot, if you can not control the dice, there wouldn't be the countermeasures in place, the bounty surfaces and the diamonds and all that stuff, right? You've got an entire state, Colorado, I'm calling you out, that won't let people set dice at all. Not about the throw, you can't even set the dice, right? Their bullshit line is that they want more hands per hour. You're too slow at setting the dice. Then set a timer. Give me 5 seconds to set my dice. They won't even do that. They want to. If they pass you the dice and you don't pick them up and throw them as they sit, they will take the dice from you and give them to the next person. Okay? What does that tell you? That's not about time. That's about something else. Something else has made them trigger themselves to not allow you to set dice. And I can guarantee you that's coming everywhere else. There's casinos in Nevada that have no dice setting allowed. Again, it's not about the toss, it's about the set. If they won't allow it, it's not because they feel like not allowing it. It's because something somewhere has told them that that's got an advantage that they won't let you have. Again, they will ban you. They will not let you count cards. If you can, God forbid, add 2 and 2 together, they put in a shuffling machine, right? This is what the casinos do to you. So we have to look at what can we do ourselves to sort of mitigate some of that and make it not be quite so horrible, right? The bridge, the concepts that I teach every day, right? Understanding your bankroll, identifying risk, identifying opportunity. We'll talk about that today a little bit. Having discipline, setting goals and sticking to them, keeping your emotions completely out of it. Now, the emotional thing we can talk more about. I say keep your emotions out of it, but there is this element of emotions at the table that you might want to consider. Kevin Farm, who I played with this weekend of my home casino. He's very, he's from Hawaii, very spiritual guy, very much into the energy, right? Believes wholeheartedly that table energy matters, right? I think it matters to me in terms of I'm having a good time or a bad time. I don't think it matters in terms of pulling sevens out, right? He's huge into it, right? And his emotions will not let him enjoy the game, and therefore he makes mistakes. So he goes and finds tables that match his emotional state, right? I think there's goodness and truth in that. Even if you don't believe that the emotions of a table create sevens on a craps table or pull reds off of a roulette table, the energy of a table does, the vibe does, the feeling does make a difference in your experience and how the whole thing kind of goes. So again, I don't think it changes the math, but I think it changes the energy of your session. And so by doing that, your emotions can be under control as well. So I want to make sure I mention that today because we maybe didn't go deep enough into that last week. So, all right, as you probably know, we're working through this ABCs of gambling. And what I'm doing is I'm running through every letter of the alphabet. I'm picking, for a letter, 5 or 6 or 8, whatever, words that start with that letter that I think, I'm on the wrong screen here, that I think, what's going on? I'm going to go here, like that. Is that right? There we go. That I think match, obviously start with the letter, but match the vibe we're going for, right? A little bit teacher time, right? So today we're doing letter I. And I's more about some independent thinking, okay? The episode is about using your head, not so much the way you think, right? So sometimes thinking for yourself means ignoring your gut. Sometimes it means recognizing that the roulette wheel doesn't care about your feelings. And that sometimes, rarely, it means spotting an edge that the casino doesn't realize they're giving you, right? We're going to cover why insurance today is one of the worst bets on the table. And the idea of having insurance at a casino, I think, in general, is pretty wrong. We'll, again, look at independent events and why your brain hates them. and when to trust your intuition and ignore it completely. And we'll talk about small increments, and we'll talk about my favorite thing, of course, identifying opportunities. So let's get into the letter I here. And again, the words we're going to talk about today with letter I are this: insurance, right? The name insurance, by the way, is marketing. And this is how not only casinos, but insurance companies in the real world make money, right? They're selling you a feeling, marketing a feeling, not giving you actual advice. We'll look today at intuition versus math, where we trust intuition for awareness and self-assessment. We trust math for decision-making. There's a difference in there, right? We'll look about and why we're not on the right screen. Again, the wrong screen. Where's my... let's do this. Let me go back and then forward. How's that? Does that work good? That's better. Okay. I'm getting used to my new buttons. All right. We'll talk about impulse control today a little bit. Where casinos, as you know, are designed, right, to make you make bad decisions. They build rules that engage that impulse. We're going to have you learn how to engage control before impulse, right? And we'll talk about increments, of course. The big secret: compounding small improvements, not just in your bets, in yourself. Really make a big difference as we go. And we'll track and ways to find increments later. And then, of course, we'll talk about about the notion of identifying opportunity as my voice starts to escape me. So, all right, here we go. Let's hit the next. Come on, one more. There we go. Come on, screen. You can do it. You can do it. And my picture is still there. Fantastic. All right. Let's get into insurance. So insurance at the casino and in the real world, it's a hedge against something unlikely. Okay, you're paying a premium like every month, right? For a good feeling, and that's just the way that it is, right? Now, without getting political, right, or whatever, insurance in real life is not what you think it is. Or at least we're not. It shouldn't be, right? We're using insurance oftentimes. I think that this is what bleeds into things, right? Car insurance, right? You buy car insurance that in the unlikely event you get into an accident, you can afford to pay for it. What are you affording to pay for? To get your car fixed, potentially get the person's car fixed that you crashed into. The real part of the insurance, though, is all the liability, right? Again, you get the lawyers involved. Sorry, Jen. And you're paying for insurance premiums so that when you get sued, you don't got to pay. So you're dropping $350, $400, in my case, $600 a month for 3 cars in insurance. In the unlikely event I get in an accident, I don't got to pay the big price. That's what it's for, right? Health insurance used to be I'd buy insurance in the unlikely event that I'd have a life-changing problem, right? My heart attack, for example, or cancer, right? We use insurance now, though, everybody, to pay for day-to-day stuff. You have health insurance to pay for your day-to-day pills and your doctor visits, right? It shouldn't be that. You should pay for those yourself. Insurance covers the rest, but we've gone upside down in the world. Gambling, the same damn thing. The same thing is happening in gambling. We buy insurance on all these bets all the time as the price of doing business, not insuring something crazy, right? And I think our brains have got to switch out of that, right? We've seen it at the blackjack table, right? Dealer shows an ace, you got a good hand, pit boss set, insurance is open, right? And it seems like it's smart to protect it, right? And the answer is that it's wrong. Insurance is a sucker bet. Right? It's B, it's actually a side bet. And they dress it up with giant letters, and it's a very reassuring name. Right? The math on it is this. It pays 2-1, right? The dealer has blackjack. For that to be a fair bet, the dealer would need to have a 10 in the hole a third of the time. Remember the whole 3 outcomes, 2 are good for you, right? But the reality is there's 16 tens. In a 52 card deck. So there's only 30.8% of 10s, not 33. The difference between the number of 10s that you need to be to make that bet make sense is a 7% difference from regular, right? Just pure math, it doesn't make any sense. B, that edge is 7%. And C, you say, but wait, I got blackjack, man. I should take even money. Guarantee that win. It's still wrong. It's still wrong. When you take even money over blackjack, right? You're making the same bad insurance bet in disguise. And it ends up being even money. Don't let it fool you, right? You lose your regular bet you're getting paid to is even money. Over time, you'll win more letting it ride. Yes, in the moment you'll feel like you beat the bear, but you really didn't. Craps, we have the same thing, right? We're insuring a don't pass bet, right? Let's say it's a 6, and we're insuring it with the hard 6. Or we're going to hedge something on the come out to make our don't pass bet feel safe. You're putting a lot of money out there to protect something that's unlikely. Yeah, there's 6 ways to lose the don't pass, or plus the 11, there's 8 ways to lose it. There's 30 ways or 28 ways not to lose that bet. You're much more likely to get the bet through than not, yet we pay for insurance that devalues the bet. Right? All that insurance you pay, all the lay bets with the VIG, all the hard ways that you're laying out there, all that stuff bleeds over time. It's like that monthly bill we talked about. You're just giving it up to feel better. In reality, sometimes taking the shot is the better way to go. And I think our brains can't really compute that. Okay, less ways to lose means in your mind you're changing probabilities, you're shifting probabilities. And it's not. It's actually a bleed. So insuring anything in any gambling game always is a sucker bet. It's a good feeling. It's marketing, but it's not reality. It's not protection at all. It's not protection. It's a big house edge on blackjack. It's a guaranteed tax in the craps game. It's got a very friendly name, But vocabulary in this case will cost a lot of us a bunch of money, and that's why I don't like it. Now let's talk about intuition. Another great I word. Your gut. We talked about this before. Your gut, your feelings, your instinct. It's the product of millions of years of evolution, right? It's helped our ancestors spot predators, right? But it's terrible for understanding probability in a casino, right? Your brain is amazing, right? Like I said, its intuition's kept us alive, right? When something rustles in the bushes, right? My wife has got the world's greatest intuition. She gets her hair up and she has a bad feeling, boy, you better watch out. If she's feeling something, it's for sure going to happen. It's the thing, right? It's lightning fast at threat detection. It's the fight or flight, right? It's reading the room socially. It's environmental awareness. But the problem is this. While we can sense that kind of danger or opportunity, our brain is really terrible at probability, right? We are wired to see patterns. We evolve that way because a false positive, thinking like there's a tiger in the woods when there isn't one, is less costly than a false negative, which is thinking there's not a tiger in the woods and there actually is, right? We see patterns everywhere, including randomness, right? See a horn, bet a horn, right? Somebody, God forbid, throws an aces and half the table tosses in a high, low, yo. It happens every craps game, right? Roulette wheel doesn't know. It just hit 5 red times, but your brain is screaming to you, or some people are saying black is due. Some people are saying, let's go, man, red, red, red. It's all intuition and it's all wrong, right? So the question is, when should you read your gut, right? When you're reading the room, right? When should you sense that you're on tilt, right? When do you notice that you're tired and you're making mistakes? Recognizing those things, right? Recognizing when something feels off about a situation, that's when you trust your gut. That's when you trust it. Read the room. Oh God, I'm going on tilt. Not making good calls. That's the right intuition, right? When do you trust math? Every time you're making a decision, whether to hit, stand, double, bet, split, or fold on blackjack, right? You trust the math when you're making the odds bet in craps. You trust the math all the time, or at least be informed by it. The math part is solved, right? We know that that's not going to change. These decisions we make, especially at blackjack, are not changed, right? Your intuition adds nothing except noise and potentially poor decision making. The best gamblers, I think, know how to deploy each of these tools, right? Intuition's good for awareness, right? Math is better for decisions. You can say intuition can tell you to not go to a table. I sense badness at that table. Kevin Farm will tell you, I sense bad vibes at this table. I'm not going to play there, right? Kevin and one of the dealers over the weekend got a little bit of a pissing match, right? Kevin walked away and went to a different table. I stayed at that table because I don't believe in that stuff, right? Off Kevin goes. I'm not going to, my intuition's telling me to get the hell out of this table. And he left, which is probably the smartest thing he could have done, right? Very true. Your gut evolved to dodge predators, as I say here, right? Not calculate odds. So trust your gut for awareness, not for probability. All right. Independent events. Now, we've talked ad nauseum about independent events, right? How one spin doesn't know from the next, right? In a truly random game, we can't predict the next result. You can't. Okay? Some people see that as me being negative or as the books being negative. You cannot trust what you just saw. It doesn't matter how many reds came. It doesn't matter that the shooter threw 5 sixes. None of that matters. Okay? And I speak about that as a warning sign, but really, I don't mean to limit you by that. It's not a limitation. It's liberation, if you think about it. Right? Once you stop trying to outsmart randomness, you can start optimizing things that actually matter, right? And trying, again, don't optimize randomness. And I can't say that any more clearly than that. If we flip the script on independent events, right? We've talked about what you can and can't do. You can't predict patterns. You can't expect balance in the table. You can't bet on what's due, but we can talk about what you can do. And I'll give you a thought experiment here. And I think I've mentioned this before, but pretend that 100 people walk into a casino, right? And there's a game where you get to flip the coin yourself, right? Everybody flips the coin 100 times, right? And John flips the coin and you guys all bet on it. Okay? Let's just say for the sake of argument, that I did it exactly 50-50. It won't be right like this. It'll be whatever. But I got 50 heads out of the flips that I did, and we're all on the table together. You buy into the table with a contract. Let's even say that. You buy into a contract, right? Everybody's got $500 every flip of the coin, right? You have enough money for the flips, right? At the end of the night, somebody at that table is going to break even. Somebody's going to lose all their money, and somebody's going to walk out with a fortune, right? On the same set of flips. Now, how is that possible? Right? Nobody can predict the next flip. We all know that. The coin didn't care about the streaks. I didn't flip it with any sort of coin control. No skill there is in calling heads or tails. But somebody walked away a winner. Somebody walked away a loser. Somebody tied. Now, the math guys are all going to tie. All these math dudes that play the Pass Line Max Odds, 100% guaranteed those guys all tied. Because they're going to play this thing mathematically, right? There's people on the periphery, though, that got screwed by their intuition or leaned into something else, right? The big losers probably chased, right? They get down a bunch of money. They try to double to get it back. They don't understand how ladders work, right? They let losing streaks dictate bigger bets, whatever, right? They stayed until the money was gone. The break-even crowd, again, they probably played mechanically, right? Same bet every time, play to the arbitrary stopping point, let variance do its natural thing. They just leaned into that and probably won or lost a few bucks. Big deal. The winners, they must have done something different. They understand that in an independent game with no house edge, variance will swing, and they bet into the variance. Maybe they set a target, getting up a certain amount of money, and they're done. They go to minimum bets and ride it out, right? Let variance swing for their way, like I would do. Stick to a goal, stick with it. But if in a game where you can't leave, go to the bottom. Right? Maybe they leaned into streaks and bet so much they couldn't lose at the end. Right? The reality of a casino, though, is there is a house edge. And that changes the math a little bit, but not the principle of what I'm saying. Since you can't predict your way around the edge, you have to behave your way into capturing something favorable. Right? There's favorable variance out there all the time. And the window of that is short, but you got to look into it, right? I think you lean into this notion of I don't care that everything's independent and it's all random by altering your bet sizes. Bet sizing becomes everything. Since no bet is more likely to win, the question isn't when do I bet big, it's what bet size lets me survive the variance long enough to catch the upswing, and then when I'm in an upswing, how do I vary my bets then to take advantage of what I'm doing, to identify this opportunity 2, 3, 4, 5 in a row, to take advantage of that. Session length becomes your weapon, right? House edge, we know, accumulates over time. The longer you play, the more the house edge hurts you. Independence means there's no hot streak to wait for. If you're up, if you catch a win or a win streak and you're up, right now is a good time to leave. Like, that's the beauty of it, right? Understanding that what just happened probably won't happen again is a liberating thing to me. There's no mathematical reason to stay. I think win targets become rational. In a pattern believer's mind, leaving while you're winning is walking away from a hot table. In the independence accepted person's mind, I accept independence, leaving while winning is capturing variance before it regresses. The same action, different psychology. And the second person probably executes the exit strategy, right? To me, emotional freedom becomes an edge. Right? When you truly accept independence, you stop sweating the past 5 results. You're not tilted by a bad streak because you know it means nothing in the grand scheme of things. Right? You don't get too euphoric about a great streak because you know also the same thing. It doesn't mean nothing. It happened. That's great. The emotional flatness, I think, makes you make better decisions. I say this all the time. Get your heart out of the damn game. Get it out of the game. You cannot run a gambling operation with emotion. Pattern seekers are exhausting themselves trying to decode the randomness, right? You're conserving that energy, in my mind, for the only battle that matters. Discipline versus impulse. The fact of the matter is that in independent games, which most casinos are, most casino games are, you cannot outthink the casino. You can only outbehave yourself. And that's a hard reality, I think, for most of us to grasp, right? So if you accept independence and optimize behavior, you'll outperform the person who rejects independence, right, and chases patterns, even if they're playing the same game with the same math, right? Because you can't predict it. You cannot predict these independent events, right? You can optimize around them. I think bet sizing, I think win targets and loss limits are the ways that you capitalize on independent events. Again, remember the example. 3-4 people betting heads or tails in a 100 trial locked-in contract game. Some of you will lose, some of you will win. You should run that, by the way, yourself. Take your chips or your whatever and hash marks and run 100 coin flips and try that. How many times can I win or lose out of 100 where you pretty much know the outcome going into it? It's going to be about 50-50, give or take 1 or 2 in 100 trials, right? Most of the time. How often do you walk away a winner in a 50-50 game? That really comes down to bet sizing and decision making as far as I'm concerned. All right, that is independent events. Now we're going to look at impulse control, which kind of dovetails with that, right? The casino, as you know, is designed to make you act before you think. Act before you think. Profit lives in the pause between impulse and action. So the example I always give, you lost a huge hand, bad beat, right? Split with a couple of doubles and you go, oh my God, just blew whatever, 40 units, right? The thing of it is the space between the impulse to bet bigger and win it back and the action that you actually do perform, that's where money is saved. That's where wins or losses happen, right? Those moments where, my impulse is to get that shit back because the world owes me that because that was a bad beat, right? You got to be careful in there. I think casinos are engineered for that, right? The games are fast. Buy-in is easy. The ATM is 20 feet away. They want you acting on your emotions before your actual brain catches up, right? Because your brain can cause its own impulses too, right? Negative or positive energy is like a snowball. Yeah? Does it create blacks or bad beats? No. But it sure as hell impacts, like I said before, your decision making and your experience. Your job is to build in the friction, right? You got to recognize that. Create rules in yourself that engage before impulse takes over. I don't touch my wallet until after I've bought in, right? Or after I bought in. I leave when I've hit my loss limit, no exceptions. I take a break every hour and a half or so. Whether I feel like it or not, I walk away, take a break, clear it out, right? I leave tables with bad energy, as my friend Kevin does, right? These pre-commitments work because they don't require willpower in the moment. You don't have to dig into willpower. You have it. You made the decision before you got there. The impulse hits, the rule's in place, I get up and leave, right? Impulse control, and also to lean in. Right, it goes both ways, right? Leaving when you're up, right, or down, but also when it's going too good to be true, your impulse might be to, right, do one of these, go shove all in. You gotta be careful about that. Be careful about that. Your impulses will kill you on either side of that thing, right? And it's not about being a robot. It's about not being a puppet. It's about feeling the impulse, acknowledging it, and then doing that check mark against your own rule set. Okay, the casino wants you to act on your impulses, right? Your profit, though, I said this before, hides in that pause. Recognize it, take the breath, and go, okay, the gap between what I just felt and what I'm about to do, that's where the casino's like, let's go, baby. Bring it in. Give it to me right now. The casino wants that. And what happens is, bam, the next bet's coming, right? The next hand is being dealt. You don't have time to think. You got to make time in your brain to think like this and take impulse completely out of the picture. All right. Next up is, what is the next one? Increments. All right. So small increments are interesting. Okay. I'm not talking about betting necessarily, but a slightly better game, right? 6-5, 3-2 blackjack, right? A slightly smaller bet, a slightly earlier exit. Small increments are how smart players gain ground. Everybody wants the secret. The system, the one trick that changes everything. You want that? Go watch Gamble with Jimmy. That guy's got all the secrets, right? He's got the system, right? I got reality for you here, right? It doesn't exist. There is no system. There is no secret. There's no bullshit. What exists out there is getting incrementally better and identifying incrementally better things, right? a 3-2 blackjack game instead of a 6-5 game. It's a 1.4% improvement. It seems small, but it's big, right? You master basic strategy and eliminate a few persistent errors that you make, you're getting back, 0.25% back from the house just by making better decisions at games, right? By learning the game all the way, right? You take breaks every 90 minutes. You make fewer tired mistakes. You bring your emotions with you to the bathroom, pee them out, get some coffee, shake it out, go outside, get some fresh air for a second, come back in fresh. That could save you 1% of dumb decision making, right? You eliminate FOMO. You lock up profits when you have them, right? You learn the power, as skill and luck would say, of regression, right? Learning how to regress your bets, by the way, is a tool that the casinos hate, by the way. I know this. Believe me, I've talked to people at casinos who hate regression systems. Why? Not because they're hard to deal or they're a pain in the ass. Those people are pulling money consistently. The regression pulls money. You get press. You go, hey, I got 640 out there. Guess what? Down to 320. And I pulled a hit plus profit. I'm not going back out there. Casinos hate that guy because they're bleeding the casino, right? Good progression bettors like me hate us. They hate us because we understand how streaks work. We understand how to bet into something and not chase something, right? You stop worrying about outsmarting the math, right? These are little things, right? Finding a better game, changing a little bit about how you play, understanding how you're walking away for a second. All the little things you can do aren't dramatic on their own, but they add up together. Incremental improvements in you are important. You stack them up over a year of play, you've moved the needle a little bit in your favor, right? And it works the other way too, right? A small leak, right? Taking insurance, playing extra minutes when you're tired, not shopping for better rules. I'm stuck in this casino. Fuck it. I'll play Spanish 21. Don't do it. Don't do it. Right? That compounds into real money lost. You got to look at the rules of the Baccarat games, the side bets. There's games in blackjack in downtown Vegas where they make you pay the side bet. They will pay you a straight up 3-2 dealer hits on a soft 17 or stands on soft 17 game. You're like, my God, I found Utopia. But they make you bet $1 every time on some cockamamie side bet, right? Incrementally, you should learn that's bad for me. The other rules are good. That thing is bad. I'm walking away. I'm not going to play this game. Those little improvements in yourself, right? Players who last decades are not the ones that found the magic bullet. They're the ones that are obsessed over making small changes. A little better here, a little less leak there, compound improvements over time. There's no secret. It's the 100 little things you can do better. And all that compounds into either an edge for you or a way reduced edge for them. And again, that's one tool you can bring with you to the casino. I would say this: chase increments and not magic. All right, last one here is one of my favorites: identifying opportunity, right? And opportunity is everywhere, isn't it? And I think the trouble that some people only see it from one direction, okay? So we've established over many times, and we will again in the future, you cannot predict independent events. You can't. Everything is random, independent. So where does opportunity come from, right? Well, it comes from recognizing your position in the present moment, not guessing about the future. I'm going to repeat that. Opportunity comes from looking at where you are right now, not guessing about the future, okay? So a couple of gambles let's take an example. A couple of guys at a craps table, right? They both buy them for 300. They're both up 400. Right? Woohoo! That's perfect, right? One guy says, I'm hot, the table's hot, this is when I'm going to press. I'm going to turn that $400 into 1,000. The other guy says, I got $400, right? My goal was 200. I have $400 of their money. That's now mine. This is my moment to decide. Do I protect it? Do I press with a portion of it? Do I regress down, taking a shot, knowing that I can lose some of it back but still retain? Right? Same situation, different mental framing, right? One guy's waiting for a sign from the universe, right? One guy is reading the sign that's already there. I got money in front of me. I have more money in my rack than I started with. I got a bunch of dough out there. I can pull some of the dough back and I can lean in. Opportunity presented itself. One person decided to go full hog. One person goes, half hog, and then full. Different way of seeing the same thing, right? You can be down and have the same problem, right? So there's chances to press in this world too, right? And I don't want to diminish that, right? You're up 500. The initial buy-in is safely re-racked. You got it. You've already won. You got that plus profit, right? If you have your money back plus profit and you're still playing, you got a cushion, right? Some people call it house money. I don't call it house money, but you have a cushion out there. You can take a calculated shot. It's time. Give yourself permission to be aggressive with that. If you've got money and an acceptable profit in your rack, what's out there is the opportunity. The cost of that opportunity to you is zero. You understand that? If you've got money in your rack that you started with, you've got profit in your rack locked up, you got money out there on the table, the opportunity cost is zero. You're putting your profit at risk, but not putting your money at risk, right? If you're going to bring enough money for 10 shooters at a craps table or 10 bullets at a blackjack table and you catch the run, you're looking to use all that money up. Your opportunity cost is your entire bankroll. That guy's opportunity cost is his entire bankroll. The guy that waits for it to happen, that guy has an opportunity cost of zero. So you think about that. You go in, and you're always trying to lean in. You're paying for the opportunity with every single shooter. The guy that waits for it or regresses into it pays nothing for the opportunity. That's the magic. That's the secret sauce, right? If you give back money but still walk up, that cushion was your opportunity, not the streak, okay? And again, we're talking about protection opportunity. You're up a little bit. Make sure you stay up and lean in when it happens, right? Right now you're ahead. It's not a waypoint when you're ahead. It's a potential exit. The opportunity isn't, let's see how high this goes. It's, I can lock this in and leave a winner and recognize that I still have a chance to then load up, okay? Opportunity might be leaving with an acceptable loss. You're down $350 out of your $500 buy-in. You set a loss limit of $200, right? You've already exceeded it, right? Right now you have an opportunity. Leave with $150 in your pocket or stay and risk blowing further past your limit, right? Most people don't see that as an opportunity, right? Always get yourself to the cage might be an opportunity, right? They see it as I'm losing still. What the hell? Shove it in, right? Opportunity is a reason to leave, whether up or down, right? The muscle you're training, by the way, is the situational awareness muscle. It's the one, it asks one question constantly, right? What do I have right now? What are my options with it? Not how's the table doing? Not what just happened? Not what's about to happen. It's just literally what do I have and what do I do with it? That's what you're asking. Opportunity is that question after every outcome, after every collection, after every loss. What do I have? What can I do with it? Sometimes what I can do with it is walking away. Sometimes what I can do with it is leaning in. Follow? The hardest part is that taking the opportunity to leave looks like and feels like quitting. And your ego says, but I could have made more. FOMO reaches in. You're missing out on what's happening behind you. It's boring. Exiting is ego is exciting. Ego gives them back the 600. Follow me? So when you can preserve money, don't let your pride get in the way of that. Okay? Opportunity is pragmatic. Pride is expensive. And pride will lose back the money. Okay? The lean-in decision, by the way, is real. It's not mystical. You lean in when you have profit to risk, and you've consciously decided that taking the shot is worth giving some back. Okay? Again, I will delay my lean-in more than most people. Kevin Farm asked me, on a 40 roller, how much money should you make? And it depends on the person. Some people start every roll with 96 across, and they just, that guy's going to make 10K on a 40 roller, right? Me, I'm going to dink and dunk, pull back, set up, get up, regress. 10 rolls in, I'm back at starting point. I'll make 2,500 on the same roll. And I'm happy with that. I'm okay with that, right? Versus just shoving all in at the thing. It's a lean-in decision that I make based on where my bankroll is in the moment. And I think that somebody who can't identify opportunity stays for too long, right? They try to maximize a streak that isn't real. They try and catch it on the next one. They stay too long when they're down. Wait for a turnaround that may not be coming. If you see opportunity as a reason to leave when you're up, those opportunities are everywhere. They're everywhere. And I think that you have to start learning how to recognize that. So my opinion is that the game isn't really about how do I win more. The game is how do I recognize when I've already won or when I should stop losing. That's the recognition. That's the identification. How do I recognize that I've already won? How do I recognize that I've lost enough? That's your opportunity to get out, right? Or again, if you're giving yourself permission to lean in with a profit play from a position of comfort, good. Okay? Opportunity is not about what's coming next. It's about what you got right in front of you. Being up is opportunity. An acceptable loss is opportunity. Train your brain to know where the exits are, right? Not the shrieks. That's a big thing. So walk out when the getting's good, as we say, all right? So that, my friends, is the letter I. I think what I want you to take away from this is this. The casino is counting on you to think with your gut, with your emotions. They're counting on you to see patterns in randomness, to take insurance and hedge because it feels like it's safe, to act on impulse instead of having rules. I think independent thinking means questioning all of that. It means accepting that the dice don't remember, right? It means trusting. Oh, I got another screen with the wrong color on it, but you can still see me. It's okay. It means building habits, the incremental habits that compound into better results. I think thinking for yourself is a big deal, right? But think correctly, right? We'll do letter J tomorrow, judgment calls. We'll talk about jackpots and junkets and some decisions that don't really have the easy answers, right? And I hope that this changed the way you think about stuff. If it did, like, subscribe, share these videos with people who you think need it, okay? And again, always, what I really care about is that we learn how to gamble smart. So with that said, let's look around here. I'm not sure. I don't see a whole lot of comments out there in the peanut gallery today, but let's take a look if there's anything good. Kevin says, John is great at printing. I am. I'm telling you. And you know, part of this is fandom, right? But I watched the Eagles all year. I'm an Eagles fan. I'm from Philly, right? That team this year did not have the it factor. The it factor is a real thing, by the way, right? You can play the who has it game all day long. The Eagles did not have it at all. The Hawks have it. Whatever it is, they got it, right? And as Kevin said, they're peaking at the perfect time. They just have it. This is one of those things where it's an it thing. They're also, besides just having it, they're freaking good. That team is a problem on defense. They are so good. The Niners did not want to be there. They did not want to be there. So, yeah. All right. Skills that I need to make a short out of what? What did I say? What was so good that I got to make a short out of it? I don't know which. Tell me which one to go back to. What I really got to do, though, is get better at these damn buttons. I tell you, that you guys can see it. Here's my new Stream Deck with the buttons. I press the buttons to switch the screens, and they aren't doing all what I want. So sometimes my face goes away anyway. I got to get better at the production quality here on this series. Again, since my computer broke, I got to reprogram everything to get it right. So anyway, let me see. Kevin says the vibe is very important. And JR says when the vibe is bad, that's reason enough to pivot and go across the street. Again, I will tell you, I don't put enough stock in that, right? I am the first person to tell you that metaphysics and energy and all that stuff doesn't mean a hill of beans. And I think mathematically it doesn't, right? I think your emotions, however, can make you make bad decisions. And I don't look into that enough. I don't take enough stock in that. I should do that more often. I would probably be better off if I just, when I'm having a bad time or don't like the energy of the table, walking away. That's a good time to take that break and let it flush. And I should do a better job myself. Mea culpa on that, for sure. Let's see. James Newberry says, when and where does the variance return to mean might outsmart the math? And the variance will return to the mean, but it's over this great distance, not in the small windows that we live in, right? In the small windows, variance is going to be swinging. It's going to be all bad or all good, right? I think it's important to recognize that. When you're in a bad variant, either walk or bet low. Or if you have the money, I guess, ladder into it. But that's, yeah. My opportunity is different than David's. David at CQ, his opportunity is always recognize it and go hard, right? My opportunity is when I have the bullet, then I go hard, right? When I'm satisfied and I'm comfortable, that's when. My opportunity is all based on when, right? He's right, though, in this. You can only create opportunity by being aggressive. On a 40 roller, a same better is not going to make any money, right? At some point, when you get the bets up, that's your opportunity. That's it. Kevin plays a system, by the way, where he goes place bet hard way. He'll do a $12 6 and 8 and a $15 hard 6, right? Or $12 6, $15 hard 6, right? It's trying to create opportunity on the hard way, right? You get paid 14, you lose 15, you're back at it for pretty much free, right? He's taking a $1 shot and making $135 is what he's basically doing. The thing is, the opportunity is when that bet wins, getting him back up, right? When you win a $12 6 and you hit a hard 6 with $15 on it, you win the $135, you got to go up. Now you're at 30 and 30 on those two. Opportunity is taking some profit and getting both bets higher. That's what David's talking about. Rack some money, lean into what just happened, right? You got a great shot at it in that case, right? Go 30 and 30. Second hard 6 comes, as Kevin would say, happy day. If it doesn't come, you got a free shot at it. That's opportunity from profit. Those are things that professionals seek to do and use that chance to get at it. So there we go. All right, guys. I have got to I got to run. It is 8:17. My meeting's at 8:15, so I'm already late for it. So I'll let you all go. You have a great Monday. I'll see you tomorrow morning, hopefully with a better voice and a little bit of reaction maybe to the IU win tonight. So y'all have a great Monday. I'll see you Tuesday. Safe flight, Kevin. Everybody else, have a great one. God bless you all. Love you. Bye.